Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. In times of trouble, we look to the helpers. As we continue to deal with this pandemic, it's clear the helpers need help too. Communities across our region are stepping up to provide what they can and as much as they can to those in need. We found stories on both sides of Lake Champlain showing how lucky we are in Vermont and New York to have talented folks who know how to use a needle and thread. Our Marco Ayala talked with Champlain Valley Quilters Guilds of New York and Vermont to find out how they're helping the helpers.
The community outreach portion of the Guild, our responsibility is to support the community in any way that we can with quilting. When we heard, obviously, coronavirus hit everybody, and when we heard that there was a need from the hospital, they had contacted me directly and asked for scrubs. Fortunately, we didn't get the influx of patients up here, so we were able to scale back on the scrubs. But then we realized, or the hospital realized, that there was a very big need for face masks, cloth face masks, to support anybody that is not patient direct contact. They had a need of about 2,000 face masks. So we put a challenge out on Facebook to all of our members and anybody in the public that wanted to work to start supporting the hospital.
And how many members have participated in this challenge?
So far right now we have 64 people. The majority of them are members from our guild. Some of them are just people that have came across our page and said, hey, I can sew, I'd like to join. And we obviously said, yes, you come and help. We need this, everybody to pitch in wherever we can.
So for some of our viewers out there that maybe have a sewing mask and some materials at hand, what's the Facebook page that they could check out in order to participate in this challenge and help out the community?
Good question. It is Champlain Valley Quilters Guild face masks. If you go on to the Facebook page, that'll pop up, and there's a lot of information. There's a lot of links for patterns. Right now we're working with the foundation of CVPH, and they are taking the face masks directly to CVPH. We are also working with United Way and donating face masks to them so that they can deliver to the rest of the community that needs face masks, like the corrections officers, the post office, grocery stores. So there's a lot of face masks that are happening in nursing homes. Oh my goodness, hospice. All of those things are handled by the United Way, and they're doing a tremendous outreach in addition to what's going on with CVPH.
Doesn't necessarily have to be with sewing, maybe with materials. What can the community do to help?
Excellent, excellent. I'm really glad that you asked that question, because one of the things, if we are always in need of bias tape, elastic, and cotton fabric, it has to be 100% cotton fabric. Those items can be dropped off at United Way. They're willing to collect for us. The big need, though, to be honest, is not so much the fabric. The quilters, we have fabric. What we don't have is elastic and bias tape, because that's not normally what we utilize in our quilt making.
About how many masks have been made and delivered to all these institutions by the Guild?
Wow, that's a great question. What we've done so far is over 1,500 masks. The majority of them have been going over to CVPH, and the other portion of it is going out to the community, to the corrections officers and to nursing homes and hospice and places like that. Those are being delivered through United Way. So we have basically a twofold approach.
Great. That's great to hear what the Guild is doing to help out the community. And hopefully this will get some of our viewers interested in downloading some patterns and hopefully joining the challenge that you put out there. Thank you so much for all that you're doing.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for the interview.
And now to learn more about what's going on our side of the lake, I'm joined by Ann Standish from the Champlain Valley Quilters Guild of Vermont. How are you, Ann?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I understand that the Champlain Valley Quilters Guild has been doing face masks to donate to the community?
You know, since we have been on lockdown and we haven't been able to meet in person, each of us has taken to this, you know, like a storm, that many of us are at home with our sewing machines, with an abundance of fabric and thread, and a need to utilize our particular talents at a time of great need in our communities.
So how this idea of reaching out to the community came about?
It started with a Facebook post, I believe, from Dartmouth Hitchcock. And that was right at the beginning of the lockdown, where there were nurses who were posting their needs as well as patterns. And it spread from there. And as the need for masks grew, because it wasn't just the frontliners who needed them anymore, it was everybody. It turned out that the communities needed many for many different groups, including the people who are making the school lunches in the cafeterias now that the schools are closed and those being distributed, to people who are working on Meals on Wheels, and just all of us in the community who need a mask to go in to buy our groceries or to go into the pharmacy. So the need has expanded exponentially, and we've all found ways to contribute to that. There are many people who have contributed to the nurses at UVM, to Copley Hospital, to Northwestern, and the community groups all within the Northwest region.
So about how many of your of the members of the Guild have been working on this project?
I don't know for sure, but we are a group of about 100 members, and every single Guild member that I've been in touch with has made some. And I would guess, though there has been no formal tally made, that it's been in the thousands.
Are materials something that you have been experiencing a shortage of?
Most of the shortage is the elastic. There are many patterns that require elastic, either to make the loops that go behind the ears or the loops that go up over your head. And we have had some very innovative people come and start making straps or out of different materials. And the latest that I've been using is t-shirt material. So I've been able to collect t-shirts from my neighborhood. You know, I cut them up into strips, I yank on them, they curl up, and then I can knot them and add them to the mask. And it's delightful to find my neighbors' old tie-dyed t-shirts and Grateful Dead t-shirts from the 70s and to use them in the masks that I am making. But the shortage mostly is elastic. But we are quilters. We tend to have a huge stash of fabric, and many of us are using it up.
Say that some people maybe don't have the skills or don't have the machinery, but they have some material like elastic or cotton. How could they get it to you?
Oh, please contact us through our website, and we will find a person who can come to you or meet you at a place of mutual convenience and off those materials safely. But please contact us through our website.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you to all of your volunteers that have helped out the people that are on the front lines during this COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you for having me.
To volunteer time or materials on either side of the lake, we're providing two websites. For the New York Guild, go to cvqgny.org. The Vermont Guild is cvqgvt.org. Remember, it's okay if you can't sew. Both sides are looking for materials to help in this effort. Seeds are flying off the shelves at garden centers. If you missed out and you're feeling a little less adventurous or patient, we've got some tips for selecting the perfect tomato plant. Here's UVM horticulturalist Leonard Perry.
I thought it would be useful to cover a few tips on how to choose among the thousands of vegetables and flowers you see at the many retail outlets everywhere in the springtime. What I found and find for most gardeners is how well the plants grow later in the season often comes from how well they're growing now in the springtime. Now, looking at some specific plants, beginning with a tomato, which is basically the most popular vegetable that most people plant. You want one, and this applies to a lot of these plants, in good proportion to the pot. You don't want it too tall or too short. Now, the tomato is an exception to most other things because you can get a taller plant that's a bit lanky and spindly, sign of too low light, and plant it lower, and it'll root along the stems. It's even got some flowers on it, which means you're going to get some fruit sooner on this. And it's got good leaf color. You want to look at the leaf coloration on whatever plant you're getting. You want a nice green color, if that's a color. If it's a red leaf, obviously you want a good red leaf. But not, tomato's a great one because if it's hungry at all, it's going to be very light green. If it's too cold, it's going to be purplish. You know, you get cold, you get purple. They do too. They don't take up that phosphorus. One of the real keys, and you can tell, you know, growers do this all the time, is check the roots. It's often as important, if not more so sometimes, to make sure it has good roots. So what I like to do is kind of loosen it up a little bit, just the pot, and then just gently lift it out, or even put your hand over it and turn it sideways. Don't be afraid to do this and look for roots. You want nice white roots on here. That's a sign of good growth and not discolored. That's a sign of root rot. To the bottom, not too overgrown. This is a perfect rooting for this plant. So to summarize on buying plants and looking for plants in the spring, you want to look for plants in good proportion to the pot, good shape and size with leaves to the bottom, good leaf coloration, dark green, not signs of nutrient deficient or water problems, and freedom from any diseases. For UVM Extension, I'm Leonard Perry.
Thanks to Leonard and Adams Farm Market in Williston for hosting us. And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.